So, in relation to this, for details on a successful local referendum and procedure in Herceg-Novi, related to the construction of cement silos in Zelenica, maybe you know from, yeah. Meanwhile, the right to propose laws, regulations, or general legal acts belongs to the government, a member of parliament, and or a petition signed by at least 6,000 voters and delivered through a registered MP, member of parliament. To achieve this, one should, first, refer to a particular article of the law over which official compliance or amendment is being called for. Second, express your request precisely, indicating the reason for it and its objectives, the desired end result. And third, state the implication on society of no response action. And fourth, refer to financial consequences of the proposed legislation. So from this context, we can see that, let's say, at national level, also at local level, each country has its own specifics. So by seeing the law, let's say a specific number of people need to write a formal petition in order to be considered. So whether you're communicating via email, conventional mail, telephone, or in person, more important is what is said, who says it, and how it is said. Volume does not mean effectiveness. One personal, well-argued email sent to the decision-maker address is more effective than 1,000 identical emails that will most likely to be treated as spam. The real strength of a tool like the internet is for your own research and network development. So at this stage, it's more useful in sharing information between each other than, well, sometimes governmental officials are quite not very efficient in, or maybe ignorant towards some emails that come. So as well, it's a better tool for communicating between members and also people who are interested in order to raise this, let's say, a petition. And further down, we go to personal visits to elected official officers, participation with open public meetings organized by public officials. And we have a case study, number 6, online petition in cyberspace. So Avaz, if you heard about this, is European. The Climate Change Action Group used the internet to strengthen a campaign initiative. In March 2007, Avaz delivered a petition with 100,000 signatures to environment ministers of the world's more polluting countries. So now we are going to international level as well. The group claims that its efforts were instrumental in securing a pledge from Germany's environment minister and German Chancellor Angela Merkel to place climate change at the top of the agenda for the G8 Leaders Summit in June 2007, a pledge that was upheld. So one way of, so how internet can play a role, like involving people from all the countries of the world. So, yes. It has an effect of the German officials, let's say, of the German Chancellor, which took involved this part in the agenda of G8 meeting. Representatives of the Institute for Public Health, Tuzla. So I'm just not the first part. Professors from the University of Tuzla, representatives of the OSCE and other NGOs to discuss a possible campaign concerning the above topic. They quickly agreed upon the campaign goal, formed a task force, attended a training workshop on advocacy, and within a month had sent their first letter to the Ministry of Physical Planning and Environmental Protection in Tuzla Canton, the ministry responsible for air quality monitoring. In their letter, they requested the ministry's cooperation in improving air quality reporting. 2 days later, the task force had its first meeting with Jadranka Mirasic, the minister, during which time she had introduced to the campaign's goals and the coalition concerns. The first official communication with the highest level decision maker did not, however, generate concrete results. The coalition concerns went unanswered. Over the next 2 months, 3 letters were sent to the cantonal ministry. During this period of intensive direct lobbying, the university professors requested a channel of communication to be opened with lower-ranked ministry officials, those persons familiar with the issues at hand. Meanwhile, the coalition task force met several times so as to effectively implement a parallel public campaign at the same time. Thus, the media, radio, TV, and newspaper were involved while a street survey of Tuzla citizens was carried out. So as you can see, a few tools going hand in hand. And promotional material was distributed, brochures, information material. The campaign was also supported by billboards, radio, jingles, and workshops within Tuzla schools. The media eventually reported on the campaign a total of 39 times. Following a number of informal agreements, the minister's representatives changed their response. They formally reacted in writing on 10th of May and invited the task force for a discussion 1 week later. A specific conclusion was not reached at this time, but the second meeting in June resulted in a principal agreement and accepted model for informing citizens on a daily basis about the air quality on the minister's webpage, which was incorporated. Within the 7 months, the campaign was successfully concluded. There are also many entry points or level of influence for communicating indirectly with public officials. In looking to secure your campaign objective, it is generally necessary to combine both direct and indirect measures. However, when public officials pointedly refuse to ever enter into a dialogue with campaign representatives, then involving the public en masse in the next resort, or public masses. Although, as case study 8 below shows, even this won't always be sufficient to achieve all campaign objectives. So maybe we don't have time to read the whole case study, but well, it shows that sometimes through masses, officials can react because of the public pressure. Another page is public demonstrations, which was discussed on yesterday as well from the direct involvers in the protests, demonstrations regard. We'll discuss it as a last mean for in terms of public lobbying. Public demonstration should be used as a least resort for mounting pressure on decision makers. The timing of the demonstration should be closely coordinated with decision-making process. Why this is mentioned? The timing of the demonstration should be closely coordinated with the decision-making process. Let's say well, we can go back and take as an example the guest speaker who was yesterday. On environments where there are no other ways of lobbying to be considered than last resort, but it might be the only necessary tool of lobbying, so in order to change.
I have to mention just one amazing situation in Serbia a few days ago. This LGBT coalition had a meeting with the Radical Party. So that's so amazing that you can't believe it. And this is also the result of the pressure related to the Pride last year that we had in Serbia, and it was a lot of different problems around it, and it was cancelled at the end, the Pride in Serbia. And this is like a political pressure on Radical Party. Is really like they are radical.
Coalition should give special attention to cooperating with the mass media. The voice of the media is heard at all levels, and their power is also enhanced by the fact that they are perceived as an objective source of information. the right use of the media is lobbying, in a lobbying campaign can serve to engender public support. The wrong use of the media, however, can backfire on the campaign. The best way to deal with the media is to establish permanent contact with them long before enlisting them in the lobbying campaign. Prior to collaboration, it is advisable to prepare answers to the following questions. What is the goal of the campaign? Who are we trying to convince so as to attain this goal? What information should we convey to them? So is it necessarily everything to convey to media prior to organizing a public demonstration? What is the best method of conveyance within the available means? Does it include cooperation with the media? And the next page. When clear answers to the above questions have been determined, answer this set of questions. What form of media should we rely upon to deliver this information in the most effective way? So we discussed central level demonstration, central level institutions, also national level media. So to take the coverage of the whole inhabitants, numbers, the more the best. What will be the best form for presenting the information to the media? So that also can be a creative part, maybe to take one personality who is quite a reliable source, who could present or who could make interviews with the media. One interesting part would be using people affected by specific issues directly to the media, so that will increase the visibility of the public demonstrations. Let's say women's rights. Would it be okay one of the women who, let's say, was affected by violence in the house? Well, we have to take consideration all the factors that she might, where she stands after that as well, because it's not just to take part and leave it to the to go to the house. I mean, let's say she was rehabilitated in a specific institution and it's not her life is not endangered because of that. But let's say sources, direct sources of information that we can take directly from the people who are affected. That made that make more effect on people's feelings. So when they see that directly, they try to become involved because of catching the feelings of people who somehow relate to that problem. So the best way would then determine. So we don't discuss here. There is no best practice, but only to take into consideration the ways on how to reflect this. The press conference as well. One tool who could all the media is invited to be informed of the agenda setting. On the next page, writing letters to local and national newspapers, phone calls to local radio station broadcasting live, appearance on talk shows and TV programs,